from the industry leaders and get you to know about the field and the domain of cybersecurity, what it entails to have a career there, and how you can build a career for yourself. So, Sunil, if you can come on camera, we will begin the session.
Sure.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Good to have you, Sunil.
Hi. Hi, everyone.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Hi. Good evening, everyone.
Hi. All right. So to begin the session quickly, we'll talk about, we'll start off with talking about cybersecurity as a field of career. And before I do that, I'll just would like to quickly introduce, Sunil here, who's there, and us as an organization. So Upskilling is a pioneer in upskilling programs, and we basically train people in the domains of cybersecurity and digital marketing science, along with building employability skills. Our vision is to equip individuals with functional knowledge and digital skills required to basically craft out a successful career in the present digital age. Because what we have seen is there's a big difference between what is required in the employment sphere and what actually happens when students are learning in colleges and school, and even in the work sphere. Not having the right knowledge does not translate to successful careers. So with this idea, we started and we launched Upskill Nexus so that we can prepare people to be job ready from day one, and not only to just prepare for it, as well as be able to thrive in the professions that they choose for themselves. So with that idea is what we've begun Upskill Nexus, and we welcome you all to this mission of ours. So we are looking at bridging the skill gap, in terms of what is required in the job role and what actually translates on field. And that's the expertise that we, are looking at catering to, and making people skilled in that. And that is where our leaders are going to speak about uh, their expertise and about the domain, and you can ask all your questions. To talk about our experts, Mr. Sunil Yadav, he is currently the managing director of Secure Nexus. He is a distinguished information security and risk management expert. He's a keynote trainer and speaker at global, Black Hat conferences, and he has had been a keynote speaker in multiple during multiple years, and has led top leadership positions there as well. And he's a top leader and specialist in AI driven cybersecurity and computer vision products and services. So Sunil's expertise is so rare that he's one of the topmost countries coveted, most sought after leader. And Sunil is spearheading Secure Nexus's cybersecurity products development, as well as the services that we are providing. So welcome, Sunil, and we are very happy to have you here with us today. Um, the next leader I would like to introduce is Mr. Deepak Nair. He is the managing director of Xbiz Techventures. He's a distinguished industry leader and is a serial entrepreneur. He has multiple tech, he leads multiple tech ventures. He has over 25 years of highly successful corporate career as a chief technology officer with Tata Group. And he's also, he had also worked with ICICI Prudential Life Insurance as senior vice president, and he's known as an innovator and digital enterprise architect. And I am Deepa Nair, who's a managing director of Upskill Nexus. I take care of, I've been an educationist, I've been an international publisher, and I take care of the curriculum. And I am as well an internationally certified life coach. So I help people build their employability. I help people with sorting out their problems and be able to excel in the domains that they are working in. So that's a brief introduction of ours. And welcome, Deepak, welcome, Sunil, and welcome all of you. I'm so glad that you are here, because, having a tough work day or having a long work day, and then you being here at 9 p.m. sharp to meet shows how much you are invested in your own growth. your own career aspirations. And that's the beauty of, when people come together and think about it. So welcome all of you. The floor is open to you for questions. However, I would like to lead this with just a simple, question about the domain, and then we'll open the floor for questions. And towards the end, we'll wrap up with what Upskill Nexus is providing. You would know whether it's a good fit for you, because ultimately what we are looking at is for you to make informed decisions. Because these are crucial investments when people make into themselves and create a career. So we would like you to have the right information with you to be able to make decisions, and also to see how we can help you craft out a career in the domain of cybersecurity, which is the digital new age, secure job, as I would like to call it. So over to Deepak. Deepak, we can start with the first question, which is, can you overall tell us about the IT domain and the IT sector, how it is shaping up, with what's been happening, in the current scenario?
I like to keep it very simple. Okay, I think the whole idea is about guys who want to make a career, and they are here primarily to understand what is the future of technology and what kind of careers are going to prosper. So number one, as you know, AI is taking over, and nowadays even a coder's job is not secure. So forget about the various other technology jobs or non-technology jobs, right? In this kind of an environment, it is very important to understand where the world is going, world of technology is going, and what is leading the change, and what are the future job roles which are going to be there. Okay. While the answer to where technology is going is very vast, I would bring it down to say where the future holds in terms of the demand which is going to come, right? The demand for jobs, the demand for roles. And if you see, even if I have to pick up the area of defense, when I say defense, it's about policing, it is about army, it's about the defense sector. There also the future of war is going to be cyber warfare. Okay, we are already seeing it. We are already seeing that in general, politics is also driven by technology, right? People's narratives change. Elon Musk taking over Twitter has a big impact on the US election, for example, right? In this kind of a world movement and the times that we are seeing, the career of the last decade and the technologies that worked, the job roles that work is not what is going to work in the next, decade or so, if I may call it that way. And one area that I see as growing in the domain of AI taking over the various other job roles is cybersecurity. And why do I say that? I say that because day in and day out, we have too many issues cropping up on the cyber area. Even in the public, general public, you can see how India has progressed in the digital economy, in the digitalization, whether it is UPI payments and things like that, digital payments. And correspondingly, the amount of crime which has also gone up in the cyber crime, right? And do you think that today's police is equipped to handle the cyber crimes? It's not. And we work with lawyers who are into cyber law. We work with police who are into, trying to find the or solve the cyber crimes which are there, the cases that come in. There is a big gap even in that. So whether you see police, you need cyber experts there. If you see the defense, whether it's army or navy or air force or any other forces, you need cyber warriors there. Every organization requires cybersecurity professionals to protect their assets, their data, right? Uh, to protect their core business itself. When I say core business, even if you're thinking of a manufacturing firm, in manufacturing firm you have, say, engineers who are working on the shop floor. You have the various departments and things like that. The more and more automation is happening, even in the manufacturing firm, more robots are working nowadays, right? Robotic arms. If you think of a car manufacturing factory setup, right? Everything is not done by hand. There are robots who are working, and these are all controlled by technology, by IT and computer systems. Now, one ransomware attack can bring down or shut down a factory for a number of days. That means that much of production losses are going to be there, right? The more digital the world is becoming, the higher the threat of the impact of cyber incidents. And that is why almost everyone requires cyber professionals to protect the businesses out there. So you need to protect individual. As an individual, you need to get protected. You need to get protected as companies, whether it is small, medium, large enterprises. Everybody needs to be protected. Government needs to be protected. Country itself needs to be protected, right? So almost everything which is out there today needs to be protected. And that is driving the demand for cybersecurity professionals, and that is driving the demand for skilled people who can, work as the defense, the first line of defense for all of these organizations. I think technology is going that route. I'm not getting into the various other aspects of technology, then we will need a few hours to conclude. I think we'll come back to the cyber, why cyber is so important.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Basically, we'll now begin talking about the career pathways and opportunities that are there in the cybersecurity domain. So, Sunil, if you could, shed light on the entry level positions that are available in the cybersecurity domain, and generally what qualifications and are essential uh, to get them. So that is something that could be of interest to those who are around.
Sure, sure. So thank you very much, Deepali, for having me here. And really thank you for a quick introduction. And really love the way Deepak explained, the whole IT and cyber combination, right? How it goes, right? But it was just a brief, right? But there's a lot more thing, if we go much deeper into cyber, there's a lot many things, right? Now, in terms of positions, right? There are a lot of positions, if you look at a simple application, right? So I'm just looking at one application that many of us use or on a daily basis. Could be a social media, could be anything, right? Like for a user, it's just an app, right? They install it and then they register, they start browsing it, right? And do much more thing, right? If you look that from the technology perspective, the way the stack has been designed, there's a lot many components that play an important role. One, your application, then comes the APIs that are integrated, then comes the system where it is being hosted, then comes the security controls that are in place, right? Then comes the database, right? That comes few more components, right? Could be a proxy server, could be a caching server, right? And then whenever we have these things in place, there's a monitoring system, right, which keeps on monitoring these systems, right? So if you look at in terms of opportunity, there's an opportunity in each and every area. Cybersecurity, what I have seen, most of people begin with their journey through the application, right? Because that application journey is very important. And I always tell people that when you look at your journey in cyber, you should know the whole stack. What I mean by whole stack is you should know how the application works, right? Or rather, how the internet works, right? As an example, when you type in, let's say, google.com, you see a Google page, right, which shows a text box to search, right? But what exactly happens in the background is something that you should know in much detail, and there's a reason for it. Because in each of these layers, from where the request goes to the server and the response being served, there is a security required, right? So for anyone who's starting their career, application security could be one of the things that you can begin with, right? And application security, especially because you will find variety of number of applications, right? Each of them have a different way of function. So you will have a variety of application to assess, identify what could go wrong with those applications. So this is one of the most demanding position in the industry, is the application security expert, right? Right? Which is basically, we call it as shift left, where you identify vulnerabilities when you're writing a code, even before it gets deployed, right? Then there is a position to look at the underlying infrastructure. So you can become a security analyst or a vulnerability assessor who can assess the infrastructure and make sure that infrastructure is secured, right? Not like the services are configured correctly, or whatever components that are there are being protected well, right? So application security is one. Your security analyst, you can become a SOC analyst. So whatever things that gets monitored, you can become a SOC, a team, or you can also call it as blue team, right? Where the team is responsible for monitoring the events and identify anomalies. And if there's anything goes wrong, they help detect and prevent the attacks, right? It's like a warrior. So cybersecurity on a defensive side is you call it as warriors, right? You are protecting your application assets from the real world attacker, right? And if your app is on the internet, the whole world, I mean, whole world means not the whole people, but people, any random people can attack your application, and you only have a limited resources who can protect it, right? So a SOC analyst could be one of it. And in terms of not so technical, you can become an expert in, let's say, a threat modeling, which basically creates or anticipates possible threats that could go wrong with the application. This may purely be like looking at the architecture, looking at how the application is structured. You just have to anticipate the threats, right? So that could be one of the roles that, or the positions that are very demanding these days. Right.
Right.
And cloud security. So cloud security again is very demanding field. So you see a lot of infrastructure are hosted on Amazon, AWS cloud, Microsoft cloud, Google cloud. And cloud is something that makes the organization's IT more effective and efficient. But at the same time, a subtle mistake can actually take you out of the business, right? There's so many interesting case studies where the companies had to shut their business because their AWS or cloud accounts were leaked out, and then the things went wrong. So cloud security is another demanding position, right?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So, Sunil, the next question that comes to mind is, like, usually there is a thought that, people from the tech backgrounds are the most suitable to do cybersecurity. Compared to that, so the question is also, can people from non-tech backgrounds, those who are looking at switching into the jobs, or, so what is it for them which is there in cybersecurity? How easy, how difficult it would be for someone to learn the nuances or the skill or get skilled in cybersecurity if they come from a non-tech background?
Sure. So definitely, if you are from the tech background, you always get an added advantage. Like let's say if you have studied computer science in your college and you know a bit of programming, you will have a little more advantage than someone who is from non-technical background. But this field is purely requires skill and will metrics, right? So if you have a skill, that's okay. But if you have a will, then you can succeed, right, in this field. And I have real world examples where people like in my first company, it's still in terms of manpower. I think in India they are amongst top 3 companies in terms of manpower. The founder was college dropout, right? So, and one of my friend who had come from mechanical background and now runs an amazing cybersecurity startup, right, from UK. And there are many more examples, right? So if it's all about, right, learning the basics, right, how the internet works, how the operating system works. It requires little effort, but I think with 6 months of dedicated effort, you can definitely learn all of these things, and then learn cybersecurity. And I'll tell you, that is why how we have designed our course, right? And I would like to highlight it, because in our course we teach how things work, right? We teach programming, we teach how Windows Linux works, right? What are the basic commands, right? And that is what is required.
Yeah.
So I think there's slightly advantage for technical, but it's not that a non-technical or person cannot do it, right? So I've seen a lot of examples who have succeeded in this field and have become an excellent leader in cyber.
Yeah, very right. I mean, so you're starting them from the very basics. It's like, learning the ABCs, and then you go on to understand the words and the meanings, and then you craft sentences and paragraphs and essays later on, right? So to put it very simply, so you're moving them from the basic to the most advanced, and it's a journey, right? And then it can be acquired within 6 months of time, where you do the essentials, and then you're moving on to the advanced in the next 3 months, which is our
Correct.
1 year course that we're talking about, right? That's the journey that a student gets to have. Coming to that now, to the certifications, Sunil, there are a lot of organizations which are offering a lot of certifications, and people do CEH and different kinds of certifications, right? Um, Now you have been in this field for long, and then over 15, 16 years of experience, and you yourself are now leading a company completely in this domain. So when you are looking to recruit people, right, what does, or you, and even though those who are in the industry, what are the qualifications required for someone to get the job, or what are the skills that you are looking at? Do those certifications matter so much? What is the scenario like?
Yeah, so skill is something that matters to us, right? For any company who's looking at cybersecurity experts, they need skilled people. Okay, certification do carry value, but a very little. At least when, let's say, when we hire people, right? So we give preference to people who have certifications, right? But it does not guarantee them a job. When they go through interviews, we have, I mean, industry popular certificate that people have got, we have rejected a lot, right? So they get certificate, but at times, and it's most of the time I've seen, like, people are not up to the mark, like, with their basic skills. And if you don't have your basic skills clear, like, then it's difficult. So certification is good to have, but most importantly, you should have the skill. Right? So we don't look at certification, right? So we don't hire people based on certification, honestly.
So let me
Okay,
let me add on to that. See, certificates, educational qualification, all of that are keywords on your resume, which basically helps you clear the resume selection process.
right.
And it ends at that. Okay, I've recruited people from everywhere, right from campus recruitments, going to IIMs, IITs, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 colleges, and things like that. When you get a plethora of resumes at your desk, it's not easy that you meet all candidates. So you use some filter criteria, and all certifications, degrees, all of these things just stop at that level. Okay. After that is all about the skill of the person.
Right.
And what kind of work that they have done. Okay. What I as a recruiter look in in a candidate typically is not the kind of certifications that he has done, but rather the kind of work that he has done.
Right.
If he has done any assignments, especially in cybersecurity, there are guys who are bounty hunters. They've done some bug bounty and things like that. Those are the real medals that they can showcase, uh, having solved a certain type of a problem. And we keep looking at those gems from within the resume block.
Right.
Rather than saying somebody is CISA certified, XYZ certified, and things like that. Do companies look at that? The answer is yes, that also is there. Like, for example, you go to a TCS or a Cognizant where, the hiring team is a completely different team. They are an HR team. They don't understand technology.
Mhm.
Those guys use certificates as a filter. But to get a job, when you go in the line managers, in front of the line manager, then those certificates really have no value. Because they are seeing so many people with certificates. Certification is easy. Knowledge is difficult, right? And the right skill and the ability to demonstrate that skill. You might not be great in the English language to be able to have a nice interview, but if your work speaks for itself, if your technical skill at that time, the kind of work that you've done, the knowledge about cybersecurity, if that comes out,
Mhm.
then your chances of landing the job is better. And also winning in the job. See, most of these guys get exposed in the first 3 months.
Right.
Okay. If I have a certificate but no skill, do you think I will survive the job? The
Yeah.
first assignment that I give you, you'll not be able to do it. But I will give the second assignment to that guy who finished the first assignment. And there the certificate doesn't really matter. Right? So it's very important to impart the skill, and to get the skill, you need to have the will. If only you have the will, and it really doesn't matter whether you are a BTech, BE, or you are a college dropout. Like Sunil said, this was KK Mukhi, his example that he was giving, NII Consulting.
Mhm.
He set up a company and he's a college dropout.
Yep.
A successful cybersecurity company, right?
Mm.
In fact, in our own company, we have people who don't come from tier 1 colleges or from technology background. We've hired sportsmen, people who play cricket well, but they had that will to do something. They wanted to do something. They came as interns, we trained them, and now they are successful cybersecurity professionals.
Yeah.
There are people who are ex-servicemen. So I have in my team, the guy was hired as a CISO.
Mm-hmm.
He was hired by me from this after the short service commission in Navy. They undergo one 3-month certificate course in IIM just for general management, not technical.
Yeah.
And I hired that person from there, and he was the CISO for us. He became the Chief Information Security Officer and did a very good job, right? So you need to have the will to gain the skill and the right mentors
Mm-hmm.
to be able to guide you through. And of course, see, the skill needs to be imparted. So there has to be a guru who is capable of giving you that knowledge. There has to be a systematic way of imparting that knowledge. And the guy who's receiving it should be dedicated कि मुझे यहाँ पे करियर बनाना है.
Absolutely.
इस डोमेन में करियर बनाना है. मुझे लगता है कि यहाँ पे मैं बढ़ सकता हूँ और उसमें पूरी शिद्दत से फिर लगना है. If that is there, this ingredient is there, then you have a successful career. And this is a field where there is no dearth of opportunity. And when I say opportunity, see, I have an entity in Dubai called Synergy Digital Solutions, right? I keep getting demands from the Middle East for professionals who are training cybersecurity, but we are not able to provide people there.
Yeah.
Because we don't have enough skilled people who will be able to to go there and do those jobs. I mean, recently I had a requirement for some 20 Splunk resources, which is one of the tools, right? And I could just not find it.
Absolutely.
And this was for Department of Health of the UAE government.
Mm-hmm.
And these are all the things that give us the trigger saying that why is there such a huge skill gap? And I think Deepak came to the conclusion that people are not aware.
Yeah.
Especially in cybersecurity. They are not aware कि एक career बन सकता है, यहाँ पे demand है, और this is the future. At least the current, and I say future in terms of 10, 15, 20 years, but at least currently there's a big demand and I can see the demand only growing.
Absolutely. There's also questions which come up about, in terms of, so today's generation largely evaluates jobs with respect to the remuneration that one can make, and that's a question which mostly come in people's mind as to what's the growth path, kitni jaldi hoga, that sort of a thing. And I'm sure a lot of questions would be around that. So we'll take that question also, and then we'll open the floor to individually to all our participants here. Those who want to ask questions, please raise your hands so that we can give you an opportunity to ask those questions, and you can clear all your doubts related to what we are providing, what's the opportunity like, and what does it mean for you if you were to choose a training with us and getting opportunities in terms of jobs.
Okay, so before we get into that remuneration piece, let me tell one thing. Cybersecurity job is a global job. Okay, why do I say that? Every country needs it, every company needs it, and whether you have worked in India or in US or anywhere else, the experience matters. The experience that you have gained carries that value, and skilled resources also have a better chance of immigration, by the way. Okay.
Yeah.
You yourself have your friend in Canada who's into immigration, right? So similarly in the Middle East, similarly in the US and New Zealand. New Zealand has just opened up a category for high skilled resources. Whether it is down under Southeast Asia, I mean, the world is open. And when we open that thing, the Indian salaries really don't matter. Okay. If I say that, okay, you can start with a salary of 6 lakhs per annum or 12 lakhs per annum or go up to 24 to 50 lakhs per annum. We have different skilled people in cybersecurity in India ranging from 6 lakhs all the way up to a crore plus package, right? Again, depending on the kind of skills and the profiles that they are at. But as soon as you go from here to Middle East, the multiplier factor is a 3x. You go to UK and the European region, it's a 5x. You go to the US, suddenly, you're in the 100,000 USD bracket in terms of just an engineer, in the cyber area. So the world opens up. Now the thing is, now that we are in India, we are talking of India context. The benchmark of salary for a cybersecurity professional is better than a coder, better than a tester, better than a BA. A business analyst, coder, technical lead, the IT. India is known for IT, right? The IT field starting salary versus the cybersecurity starting salary. Cybersecurity is considered a higher skill, and for the higher skill, you get a premium. It's as simple as that. In fact, you have to understand the economics of how resource pricing is defined. Okay, let us say you're joining TCS or Cognizant or any of the SIs. You're the commodity that they are selling to the client. The billing that they get from the client defines how much money they can pay you as the resource, right? For a developer, if the billing is X, for a cybersecurity resource, I'm not even saying expert, resource, for similar experience level, the billing is at least 1.5x. At least. Okay, so if the client is charged for for a developer 1 lakh rupees per man month, for a security analyst or for the same level of this thing, it will be 1.5 to 2 lakhs per man month. What it translates is the amount of affordability that these technology companies have to pay for the resources. So it's a definite niche skill to gain. And I'm sure people who are in the industry working in different roles in technology, maybe some of them in this audience here, whether you're in the production support job, whether you're in the IT support job, whether you're in the network engineer or a system administrator or a developer, you understand the salary you get and what the client gets charged if you're working in an IT company, right? And if you're not working in an IT company, you're working in a user company, you know how much your company pays to these IT services companies for each of these roles. And then compare how much do they pay to a cybersecurity professional, whether it is somebody who's doing VAPT or somebody who's come in for doing a red team exercise or any kind of a cybersecurity job, including audit or testing or anything. There's a premium attached to it. Now the question is, do you want, as a professional, do you want to be commodity or do you want to be niche specialist? मतलब आप डॉक्टर के पास भी जाते हो तो जनरल फिजिशियन को ज्यादा पैसे देते हो या हार्ट स्पेशलिस्ट को देते हो?
Right.
जो डॉक्टर स्पेशलिस्ट होगा उसको ज्यादा फीस चार्ज करेगा ना?
Absolutely. So, coming to the next question related to this itself is the way our training program has been designed, or the coverage, Sunil. What advantages would they have? So anybody who studies with, let's say, upskill access to go through. We've discussed about the work domain. We've discussed about what is the possibility like. So anybody who trains with us, for them, what can be the future like?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think the idea behind making that course, right, was to build skill, or multi-skilled, right? So it's not just like doing one thing at a time. But if you complete the course, the whole 6 months course, it starts from very basic, then we set it up to intermediate level and then to the advanced level, right? So anyone who completes the course that we have will fit in all possible roles in cybersecurity, right? Purely technical roles. They can fit, and then they can explore more opportunities in a GRC space, right? So it will open up most of the positions that we discussed earlier, right? You can become an VAPT expert, you can become an infrastructure expert, you can become an AppSec, you can become a mobile expert, you can become a source code review expert, you can become a cloud security expert, you can become a good DevOps engineer or DevOps security engineer. right? And then you can become a good threat intel guy who does a lot of research on threat intelligence, right? So it opens up multiple opportunities. So our course is not just for like one specific thing. And then from there, then you can pick up more advanced things. But if you complete the course, you will be like sorted for any job. And then you grow. I mean, you learn one, in any course, right? But the actual thing that you learn is on the job, right?
Absolutely.
The kind of situation that you come across, scenarios you come across, you learn everything in job. So we make sure that anyone who completes the course gets through the at least the entry level is much easier if you
Yeah.
complete diligently.
Yes, absolutely. And also, my question now to the audience is, if you have any questions, you can ask Sunil and Deepak, and you can get clarity on any of the aspects related to what we are doing, if you have that in mind. While saying that, I would also say that here the way approach is a whole 360-degree approach, which means that we focus on the soft skills development. We focus on equipping you with leadership skills. We focus on business communication. We focus on how do you work within teams and collaborate. So all of those things are also taken care of while studying with Upskill Nexus. So if you have questions, we'll open it up.
Just want to add one more thing, right? As you rightly mentioned, we also develop soft skills, right? The presentation skills, right? And that is also an important skill when you are in cyber, right? So you might be good at finding the vulnerabilities, but if you're not able to write it in a correct way, because the report that goes out is something that talks about your work, right? So you should have a good report writing skills, good presentation skills to present your findings. But that's right. So that will take you far ahead in cyber, right? That will make you as a leader. So that is what our goal is, right? So technical soft skills combined together and bring industry leaders, make industry leaders.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Sunil, for saying that. Anyone who would like to ask a question, please feel free to unmute and ask.
So, question, Aditi.
Aditi, you can unmute and ask, please.
Good evening, sir.
Hi, good evening.
Sir, actually, I just wanted to ask that what kind of role does technical skills and research skills play in cybersecurity? Like, is it important to have more of technical skills or more of research skills, or they an equal concoction of both, or what?
Yeah, so that's a very good question. So when you say technical, I mean, you know how things work and how to do an assessment, right? Research skill is something that there are only finite number of people who do research. What I mean by research is like, let's say you pick up a topic, and let's say you do a research on malware analysis, or you do a research on reverse engineering, right? Or probably you do a research on any topic that you pick up, could be related to the cloud, and you come up with an awesome white paper with awesome tools that will give you more advantage, as compared to any other technical guy. So if you have the combination of technical skills and the research skills, eventually if you do a research, your technical skill will also get improved, right? So having both would be the best thing, right, for any cybersecurity expert.
Particularly in like threat intelligence, is it the research skill more so?
Yeah, threat intelligence is a very wide open area, right? That includes your dark web also.
I'll put it this way, Aditi, and a very important question that you asked, pertinent one. Your growth trajectory will change if you have research skill. Why do I say so? Cybersecurity is an evolving field. There are new things coming up every day. Technology is evolving, new things coming up every day, right? So the things that you learn and use will become outdated very soon, right? So people who have a research mindset will do a continuous learning and continuous discovery. When you do that, you are in the forefront of the cybersecurity domain. So you are the front runner, and front runners typically become leaders, right? So in the career growth, having good research skill complements the core technical skills in cybersecurity. That's what I would want to leave you with.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Anyone else who would like to ask a question?
Guys, feel free to ask anything, because see, at the end of the day, it's your career, that matters, and you should know exactly what you're getting into. Be very practical about it. It's a commitment that you make to yourself, and the trajectory, what decision you take today, will define your life.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the floor is open for questions both in Hindi and English. So language is not a barrier. Please feel free to ask. Okay, you can also type in your questions in the chat if you think that you would like to type instead of voicing it out. That's also another possibility that we have. Okay. Since no questions are coming up, I'm assuming that your questions would have been answered while we were discussing, and while we're taking up other questions. To just sort of wrap it up, I would say that go through. You can get in touch with the program advisors of Upskill Nexus, and get more information about the courses themselves. Our courses that Upskill Nexus provides comes with internships, so which means you are doing hands-on practical training, as what Deepak and Sunil both have spoken about, which paves way for your success in careers, because once we take on the responsibility, we take on the responsibility fully and help you through the career support that we provide. And the entire journey spans across 6 months to a year's program. You can enroll or start off with a 6 months program, which will ensure that you learn the core, the essential, and then move on to the advanced program of 1 year. So 1 year program comes with 3 months of internship and an assured job at the end, depending on your performance. And the 6 months program also comes with an internship of about 1 month. Depending on where you are, we facilitate jobs for you as well, because this is a field where the demand is a lot. Skill, well, that's a question. A lot of people, are struggling to find job these days, but this is one field where we can assure you, once you are trained, if you have the right knowledge and the right skills, job is not at all a problem, and growth is not at all a problem, as Deepak and Sunil have both said. So thank you very much for participating today. Our team will be in touch with you in case this excites you, in case you think that you can trust us with the careers that you want to build. We will be happy to take on the conversation further. With that note, thank you, Deepak. Thank you, Sunil, for your insights and for the information that you have given. And